The city sparkled that morning, glass towers catching the sun like shards of diamonds. But from the corner office of the 47th floor, everything looked gray. Ethan Cross, 42, billionaire CEO of Cross Tech Industries, stared out the window with a coffee gone cold in his hand. His phone buzzed. Another reminder. Today would have been Lily's birthday. He silenced it. The ache in his chest never really went away. It just hid behind meetings, deals, and deadlines. 3 years had passed since he lost his wife and daughter in a car accident. Since then, success had become his shield, and his prison. His assistant's voice came through the intercom. "Sir, you're scheduled to visit the community center at noon for the company's charity partnership." He almost canceled. He hated these PR appearances, the forced smiles, the cameras. But something inside told him to go. The community center buzzed with life. Laughter. Kids running around with paintbrushes, faces smeared with color. Volunteers setting up lunch tables. Ethan arrived in his tailored suit, standing out like a diamond in the dirt. People whispered. Some recognized him, others just saw an expensive man in an expensive world. Then, from behind a table piled with coloring books, a little voice called out, "Mr." Ethan turned. A small girl, maybe 7 or 8, stood there clutching a crumpled $5 bill and a stack of ones. Her hair was messy but her smile was bright enough to light the room. She walked up to him, shy but determined, and said words that made the entire room freeze. "Hi, sir, here's $50. I just need a dad for one day." Ethan blinked, stunned. "I'm sorry, what?" She held the money out to him with both hands. "My name's Emily. Tomorrow is Dad's Day at school. Everyone's supposed to bring their dad for games and lunch. But I don't have one." Her voice cracked slightly, but she kept going. "Mom said dads are busy, but if I pay, maybe someone can be my dad just for one day." Ethan felt something shift deep inside him, a crack in the armor he'd spent years building. He knelt down. "Emily, you don't have to pay me." She frowned. "No, that's not fair. My teacher says you should always pay people for their time." Ethan smiled faintly. "Tell you what, how about you keep your money, and I'll come for free?" Her eyes widened. "Really, you'll be my dad for a day?" He nodded. "Yeah, I'd be honored." That night, for the first time in years, Ethan didn't stay late at the office. He went home early, pacing through the quiet halls of his mansion, suddenly aware of how empty it felt. He stopped in what used to be Lily's room. Her stuffed animals were still on the shelf, dust-covered but untouched. He sat on the edge of her bed, heart-heavy, whispering, "It's just for one day, sweetheart, but maybe it's something I need too." The next morning, Ethan showed up at Emily's school wearing jeans and a simple jacket, something he hadn't done in ages. When Emily saw him, she ran across the field shouting, "Dad!" and threw her arms around him. Every head turned, kids laughed, teachers smiled, and Ethan froze for a second before hugging her back. It felt foreign, but warm. They played games, built paper airplanes, and even lost the father-daughter race. Ethan tripped and fell, and Emily couldn't stop laughing. At lunch, she proudly introduced him to her classmates. "This is my dad. He's the best." Something inside him broke wide open. He hadn't heard those words, "my dad," since Lily. After school, Emily tugged at his sleeve. "Can we get ice cream before you go back to being important?" He smiled. "Sure, I've got all day." They sat on a park bench, ice cream dripping down their hands. Emily told him about her dreams, how she wanted to be a scientist so she could make rainbows in jars. Ethan laughed for the first time in years. Real laughter. The kind that heals. Then he asked softly, "Emily, where's your mom?" Her smile faltered. "She's sick. She's in the hospital a lot. I stay with Miss Clara, our neighbor, when she's gone." Ethan's chest tightened. "I'm sorry." Emily looked up at him with eyes too wise for her age. "It's okay. Mom says sometimes God takes people early because he needs them to help others. Maybe that's why you don't have your family either." He swallowed hard. "Maybe you're right." Days passed. Ethan found himself thinking about Emily constantly. He started visiting her and her mom at the hospital, quietly paying for her mother's treatments through anonymous donations. One afternoon, Emily's mother, frail but kind-eyed, called him aside. "Mr. Cross," she said softly, "I know what you've been doing." "Thank you." He shook his head. "You don't have to thank me." She smiled faintly. "You've done more than help us, you've given Emily something she's never had. Hope." Her words hit him like a wave. He realized it wasn't just Emily who'd found something, it was him too. Weeks later, the hospital called. Emily's mom had passed away peacefully in her sleep. Ethan rushed to the hospital, his heart sinking. He found Emily sitting alone, holding a drawing, a stick figure family of three. Her mom, and him. She looked up, eyes red but steady. "Mom said before she went, that I'd never be alone. Because she left me someone who needed a daughter as much as I needed a dad." Ethan knelt beside her, tears streaming down his face. She was right. He pulled her close, and for the first time in a long time, Ethan Cross let himself cry, not as a CEO, but as a man who'd finally found family again. Months later, newspapers would quietly mention that billionaire Ethan Cross had adopted a young girl named Emily. But what the world didn't know was how she changed him more than he could ever change her. The mansion that once echoed with silence was now filled with laughter, drawings on the fridge, bedtime stories, and light. Every year, on the same day she handed him that crumpled $50, they'd go to the same park, sit on the same bench, and share 2 scoops of strawberry ice cream. And every year, Emily would ask the same question with a mischievous grin. "Hey, Dad, do I still owe you $50? Ethan would smile, his eyes glistening. "You've already paid me back 1,000 times over, sweetheart."